What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will telling about 10 fybaen of bahk poccnn ecatb ASEAN China of coin 2012. The year 2012 was a critical one for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN, marked by both progress and challenges in political cooperation, regional integration, economic development, and geopolitical tensions. As ASEAN continued its path toward forming an ASEAN Community by 2015, regional and global issues tested its unity and resilience. ASEAN's political and security developments in 2012. Cambodia's ASEAN Chairmanship. Cambodia held the ASEAN Chair in 2012, hosting the 20th and 21st ASEAN Summits in Phnom Penh. These summits aim to push forward ASEAN's community-building efforts, with emphasis on economic integration, socio-cultural cooperation, and political security cooperation. However, Cambodia's chairmanship also saw one of the most controversial moments in ASEAN's history: failure to issue a joint communiqué. The 45th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in July 2012 became historic for the wrong reasons. It was the first time in ASEAN's history that a joint communiqué was not issued. The reason stemmed from deep divisions over how to address the South China Sea disputes, particularly with regard to China's growing assertiveness and the confrontation between China and the Philippines at the Scarborough Shoal in April 2012. Cambodia, seen as a close ally of China, reportedly blocked references to the South China Sea dispute in the statement, leading to a deadlock. Member states like the Philippines and Vietnam expressed frustration, warning that ASEAN's credibility was at risk. This event exposed rifts within ASEAN and raised concerns over its ability to remain united in dealing with major security issues. ASEAN China relations in the South China Sea. Despite the internal tension, ASEAN and China held further discussions in 2012 regarding the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea (DOC), signed in 2002. However, progress toward a legally binding Code of Conduct (COC) remained slow. The South China Sea remained a flashpoint. Standoff between Chinese and Philippine vessels at Scarborough Shoal escalated, resulting in China effectively taking control of the area. Significantly raised regional tensions and increased calls for a multilateral solution, something China continued to resist, preferring bilateral negotiations, economic integration and ASEAN connectivity. ASEAN Economic Community (AEC) progress. The ASEAN Economic Community (AEC), targeted for completion in 2015, made progress in 2012. Highlights included: reduction of trade barriers among ASEAN countries, increased trade and investment flows, with intra-ASEAN trade reaching approximately $598 billion United States dollars, accounting for over 25% of ASEAN's total trade. Continued harmonization of standards to support the free movement of goods and services. The AEC Blueprint's implementation saw 72.9% of measures achieved by 2012, according to ASEAN reports. Laid the foundation for a more integrated regional economy, even though challenges remained in infrastructure, customs integration, and SME participation. Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity (MPAC). Connectivity was a priority in 2012, with the Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity focusing on physical infrastructure development, institutional connectivity, customs, regulations, etc. People to people. Education, culture, tourism. ASEAN worked on infrastructure corridors like the Singapore-Kunming Rail Link and ASEAN Highway Network, aiming to improve transport and trade routes across the region. Socio-cultural. Environmental issues. Disaster management and environmental cooperation. ASEAN strengthened regional disaster response mechanisms through the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance (AHA Center). 2012. ASEAN countries faced various natural disasters, including floods in the Philippines and Indonesia, and typhoons affecting Vietnam and Thailand. The AHA Center coordinated relief operations and helped with data sharing. ASEAN's efforts in disaster preparedness and climate change resilience became increasingly important due to the region's vulnerability. Environmental issues like deforestation, haze pollution, and urban waste were also high on the agenda. Continued to implement the ASEAN Agreement on Transboundary Haze Pollution. Though Indonesia had not yet ratified it, they would do so later in 2014. ASEAN's External Relations. East Asia Summit EAS 2012. The 10th East Asia Summit was held in Phnom Penh, involving ASEAN member states and key partners like the US, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, India, and Russia. The EAS focused on regional peace and stability, economic growth, and non-traditional security threats. China Sea was again a major talking point, with the U.S. pushing for freedom of navigation and a multilateral approach to conflict resolution. Engagement with ASEAN.